fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going with the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up the
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
National circuits. I love a good national circuit, I do. I love the fact that you can go to a track that has this rural feel and that every time you go to a circuit like this, it feels like a cult classic. No matter where you are in the world, the smaller tracks are the ones that often find themselves up at the best. Welcome to Springvale, Victoria, Australia. Round 5 of GT Open Australia finds itself in full view as the virtual challenge will be 49 laps here today as they go forward. So this is going to be some really important racing out there, and we're going to be finding out how it goes. I'm Jake Sperry, Brady Baldwin along with me for the ride. Brady, this is a track which on the Australian calendar doesn't need much talking about. This is one of the fastest circuits that you find out there. We're taking that run down to Victoria and exactly where the circuit is. You can see everything you possibly need out of circuits there, likes of Winton, the likes of Phillip Island. It perfectly intersects both of them.
Yeah, certainly, Sperry. Evening, everyone, and good to be back with you this weekend, Sperry. Sandown Raceway, as you said, no introduction at all. One of the best circuits in Australia, and should put on some really good racing here tonight for the GT Open Australia, round number 5.
It certainly should. 3.1 kilometres, just a shade under 2 miles. The anti-clockwise 13-turn circuit that races all the way around the Sandown racecourse there in the infield. Very unique as a circuit, very similar to the old Aintree circuit, which hosted a Formula One race back in the 1950s. So it's got that very big feel about it of how good you go through. Watch out for overtaking opportunities. Turn 1 is going to be one of the keys. If you can't get it done at 1, you might have to be patient, wait all the way through the S's to Dandenong Road, turn 9. And then if you've still got a chance, 11 and 12 might still open up a potential opportunity yet. But let's talk championship at this moment in time, because it is as close can be. It was actually a hold in the end for the championship. Simrigs.com DPR 632 on top, but a solitary point is all the difference at this moment. So next to nothing there out there at the top. The 233 DPR team find themselves in third. Fourth position is the 979 Simrigs.com DPR team. And then DBM Beyond find themselves in fifth. It's Pursuit Sim Racing in sixth. Bush Pig Esports find themselves seventh. And ZSN Racing in eighth. Then Pursuit Sim Racing's 155 in ninth. And the Mark 1 Esports purple outfit there, the AMG Mercedes, rounding out the top 10. But Brady, you look at that championship, 1 point at the top. It has been a Porsche-dominated championship. They have had a bit of the restrictions lightened on them for this round by about 5 kilograms on the ballast. So they might have things a little bit easier today here at Sandown.
Yeah, certainly the Porsche will probably come back into its own this weekend. As you've seen last week at Belle Isle, it was the ERT 444 that dominated the race by about 15 seconds. So a very different racetrack here today at Sandown. And from the little bit of testing that I've done, the Porsche seems a better car over the one lap here at Sandown. So it'll be interesting to see how the Lamborghini fares in the fight for the championship tonight.
Certainly should be interesting to see that as we are in the midst of qualifying right now. 15 minutes set a time. This is where we've been, and this is who's found victories. It's 2-2 out there between the Evolution Racing Team 444 team and the 632 Simrigs.com DPR team. Shows you just how close it is up at the very pointy end of the championship. Sandown today, and then 2 final rounds. December 4th, it'll be a 2-week break before we reach Road America and then to Daytona to end the season December 18th. We'll mark that the week before Christmas. So 49 laps worth of racing here today. It's going to be 80 minutes long as a hard count on the timer. We expect laps to find its way first. Pit window, you have to do a driver swap, and it must be between laps 21 and 29 as they go about their business. So worth keeping an eye out on who's going to make the call to come in early and who's going to make the call come in late as we focus on that Lamborghini there of Reece Gasol, the Evolution Racing Team 444, third fastest on a 106 flat. So right now needs to find about 0.3 of a second to improve to get up to Andrew Dyson on top in the 632 simrace.com DPR car at this moment in time. That 632 just making its way through the opening corner here, Brady, and the opening section of the lap is really committed. Those high curves, especially on the exit of 1, and then having to go through 2 and 3, which is a slightly too big to be a small chicane, but also too, I would say, easy to straight line to be a slow chicane. It's a very, very unique section, 2 and 3, as they now head on to the backstretch.
Yeah, you described it perfectly, Sperry. It's commitment through that first section, and unlike a V8 supercar, which loves riding curbs, these cars do not. So you got to find that balance between attacking the curbs too hard and trying not to unsettle the car too much. And looks like Andrew Dyson, the 632, has been doing that the best so far. He's 0.3 clear just about of the rest of the field, and he's on another really good lap here, so he might even extend that advantage.
Well, through the final chicane, through turn 12, and the flick left at turn 13, taking a really wide line to set up a flying lap. So that one then just put in the back pocket, not necessarily working. Loving the tanked SRT 010 up in 6th position right now and hoping for a good qualifying. The Ferrari looking good out there. Rob Bowden trying to search for some lap times, absolutely clattering the inside curb at turn 11. Maybe run slightly wide out of 12, but for the Ferrari right now, that's a 106.6, so 0.3 off the pace. Still a little bit more time to be found. 0.2 will get past the 8 car out there, which is the Racing for Leukemia team out there at the moment. 233, James Glasspool there for Simrace DPR. They are 1-2-3 at the moment here right now, Brady, and this is in terms of how they want to go about things. Put the best time possible. That is almost an improvement. Was short by half a 10. Bill, it is going to be an important run right now. Tom Jones out there for the Bush Pig Esports car at the moment. The BMW out there, certainly hoping that there is going to be some good times out there. Currently in 8th fastest at this point, and they'll be hoping that their times can improve. We're talking track temperatures out there. We're racing in sim time at about 20-7, so it's only a 21C track, which means there's not much heat at all really to talk about in this circuit. It's very cool. Winds as well. They're going to be playing havoc today. 19 kilometers an hour from the west. It's going to be across the circuit, so they're going to be getting themselves a very important run out there. Josh Fitt, again, the 255 Simrace.com DPR Porsche. They're making that run to turn 11 once again through the right and the left. Look how much they're opening up turn 11 to try and maximize turn 12 if they can get the run that they are hoping for. It's a 105.9. That's good enough to jump up into 2nd position there for the 255. So no real dramas at all. Speaking of them, there goes issues for the 444, who finds a very seldom found area of the circuit there over through at the exit of turn 1. So dramas for the 444 in 4th position right now at this point, Brady.
Yeah, certainly, Jake. The Porsches seem to be dominating the session so far. As you see, the 444's 0.3 off the pace there, and looks like DPR as well right on top, taking the top 3 positions so far.
Yeah, they're certainly doing a great job. Here's Dylan Burse in the Cruiser Kings 169 car. Absolutely throwing one up there. That's a big issue. And you're going to need the downforce here today to get a commitment through turn 6, Brady. But the issue that these drivers are going to have is this is a high-speed circuit. Downforce is the enemy if you want to go fast here today.
Yeah, certainly is, Barry. And see, a lot of cars are getting it wrong so far in qualifying. And see Luke Rosella there in the Racing for Leukemia, number 8, Mercedes driving with Corey McFarlane, just gone P number 3.
Yeah, that's a great time by them. 106.011, cleared by 400 to the 233. And that will give them some help. We are inside the final third now of qualifying, out of the way and into the barrier there goes. I believe that was the the auto serve 9-2 in trouble there, so they got out of the way. But Rosella now making that run up the hill to turn number 6. That's fast left-hander, commitment all the way. Then you got to go through the S's, hit the brakes. You now search for the pinpoint line through the left-hander at turn 9, and then you've got yourself 2 final turns of 11 and 12 to navigate to end the lap through the left, opening up, through the right, opening up the left, I should say, and making that look for the line. Can the Racing for Leukemia car go any quicker? Answers even more so, up to second, 105.8. It's starting to roll, and that will be the tyre life done.
Yeah, certainly a brilliant lap there from Rosella. Wasn't expecting the Mercedes to be that quick, but in the hands of Rosella, probably one of the best series in the Oz NZ SimSphere. Certainly put a really good lap in there, but James Glasspool now in the 233, currently in position number 4, 2.5 tenths off Andrew Dyson, his teammate. We'll see what he can do this time by.
105.9 there from James Glasspool, and that's enough for the 233 car to jump up, but only temporarily, because there's improvements for the 444, which moves to third on a 105.919. Looks like everybody then is starting to improve their times at the latest of late positions in this qualifying session. There is still drivers to improve. Ben Jeffrey, the 247 car, out there at this point in time, looking to try and improve for After Dark. Sim Racing Pink, running through the left and the right, so running the 44 number out there on today on an error. Round you go, Sonny. And in front of the tanked SRT car as well. Tried to get well out of the way for a whole slew of machinery coming through. The final stages here, Brady, of qualifying are going to be manic.
Yeah, that mistake certainly easy to do with that corner. Looks like just got the rear loose there and didn't really have much control of his car. So unlucky, he'll reset and he's got 2 minutes, so he'll have enough time to get back out there and do one more flying lap.
Yeah, there's enough time there, and I tell you what, it is stacking behind James Glasspool right now as we focus on Andrew Dyson, who still is out in front in qualifying there for the 632 at this point, making the run over towards the line and looking to gear up a flying lap. Behind that, Reese Margetts, another of the GPR cars. Lee Parsons then just behind Glasspool, making room. McFarlane, all of them there are looking to gear up these laps, and they'll have 2 laps in their pocket if they want to find that improvement out there on track. Anyone who is out there at this point is looking for lap time as the 233 runs through turns 2 and 3, immediately on the brakes. The back stepping out there through turn 4, and the back almost finding the barriers there on the outside. One of the most unique, I would say, drivetrain layouts, revolutionary. You could say the Porsche, one of the few to run the Boxer engine.
Yeah, certainly, Barry. And interesting to note as well, 3 different manufacturers in the top 3. We've got Dyson in the Porsche, Rosella in the Mercedes, and Reese Cahool in the Lamborghini. So very interesting to see how close those 3 manufacturers are.
Well, we'll see how that all shakes up at the end as those first times are going to start creeping up onto the board. Margetts is going to pull off, but Glasspool's going to be searching for times. So too Andrew Dyson out there at this point. So it is the top 5 split by a 1/10 and a half out there in qualifying. Can Reese Cahool and the 444 find that improvement too? That's going to be the next question over the line. 105.969 didn't find it's going to pull it over. That's going to be them done. Checkered flag about to fall here in qualifying. And for Dylan Burst, Crusader Kings car didn't get over the line in time. Checker flag dropped on them. Tom Jones, the Bush Pig Esports, they improved to 8th fastest with that lap time. Alpha Venturi making the run to the line. The 818, hoping that they can jump higher than 11th position in this qualifying. Is going to make the run over the line. No improvement. They were short by a couple hundredths. After Dark just behind them. And that's a 106.9, so jumps the Alpha Venturi team with the effort. Hammer serve. Tyson Hammer is going to go for it, and they get a 106 time down, but that's not going to be enough. Dyson improves to a 105.6. Important lap time. McFarlane's lap time doesn't count, and that will do it then for qualifying. That puts everyone over the line. Dylan Burst did not get over the line in time, and as such, is not going to be able to set an improvement on this lap time. We will just confirm that running through the final corner. That will confirm it. Into the barriers they go, and that puts qualifying to a close. Let's get it up on your screen for you then, how they will stack up for the race here at Sandown. Simrings.com DPR 632 find themselves in control of 105.676. They have the Racing for Leukemia 8 in alongside them on the front row. The Evolution Racing Team 444 will line up third. 3 different manufacturers in the top 3, with the Simrings.com DPR 233 car starting in 4th, ahead of the 255 car, which lines up in 5th position. Tanked SRT, the 010, the Ferrari there in 6th position on the start, with Simrings.com DPR 979 starting 7th, and Bush Pig Esports in 8th. Mark 1 Esports Purple will go from 9th, with Autoserve Racing rounding out the top 10. After Dark, Sim Racing Pink and Alpha Venturi Racing find themselves on row 6. Crusader Kings 1 will be the last car in this field, number 69. The number 7 will not start for practice infringements, and as such, they have been disqualified. Well, they were disqualified from qualifying, which meant that they will start from the very back of the field. My apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. But Brady, getting ourselves then ready to go. They know that they've all got to do these laps, but with a race like this, it is very easy for this to become pack mentality with how close everyone was in qualifying.
Yeah, certainly. We've seen the gaps in qualifying, how close it is, and the draft's going to be very, very important on this track. And also, we haven't talked about the setups everyone's going to be running, whether everyone's going to be on maximum low wing, or some people might be running a little bit more wing for more stability through the corners. So be interested to see what car fares best on the long straightaways.
Well, the long straightaways are going to be key, and as they line up on the back stretch here, looking to make that push over towards what is turn 6 out on track. This is a really, really important phase for them. They know the opening couple of laps could decide the entirety of this race today. It goes wrong in the opening few corners, as it has done many a time before on a national scene in Australia. If you haven't already, though, ladies and gentlemen, you're here with SimSpeed TV for the very first time, wondering what it is you're watching here with your efforts out there. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content brought to you by the team here at SimSpeed TV. We've got so much that comes up along, and a look then across what is Sandown here in Victoria, over towards the racetrack, over towards the race course, over towards where everyone is lining themselves up and now taking their half a pace lap to go forward and push for what is today's incredible racing. There is the finish on one of the most lucrative racetracks over the course of Australia. But Porsche, Merc, and then following Lamborghini, a Ferrari in 6th position. Got a balanced strength of field for the first time, Brady.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like a lot more fairer than last week. We've seen the Lamborghini DRT 444 run away with it last week, so it's really good to see a few different manufacturers up there, and it's not going to be a Porsche fest up front.
Well, now's the time that they got to prove that they've still got the pace. The pace car, the Porsche iRacing first safety car, will take the run right and dive into the pits. Pace will be under the control of Andrew Dyson, who takes an early stab of the power as he will get the green flag to drop And we will get ourselves then underway here from Sandown as we make the run towards the opening corners. Already John Peisnick is going to have to defend on the inside, and there's contact for third as the Racing for Leukemia car is going to get pushed out. James Glasspool and Corey McFarlane then will continue over towards turn 4. Bang! Huge pile up then. 1, 2, 3, everyone, track's jammed.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be a safety car for sure. Big effort, big move there from McFarlane and Glasspool, and they just come together, and now the track is literally stacked up.
It is completely stacked. No safety car call has come in yet. At this point, safety car has been deployed. So this race will be neutralized then at this point in time. Everybody gets a chance to reset, and these drivers know that they have themselves a free card to use in this one. All drivers will get one fast repair out there today, so each team goes through, and this was just a chain of the drivers in 3rd and 4th position, the number 8 car and the number 233, deciding they wanted to get dicey in the opening stages of this race. And it's so easy on this open lap to say, I'm still in tight position, and you'd have to say at that point that there was never any clearance there for the number 8 to come across the track in the way that they did, and that's why it stacked up.
Yeah, certainly it all started there at turn 1 with Glasspool seemingly running the number 8 wide, which is hard racing at the end of the day, but it looks like the number 8 just squeezed him into turn 3 a little bit there. We'll go on board with Rob Bowden, the Tanked SRT car, and we'll get a really good view from behind, and it looks like McFarlane just jumps the curb a little bit and squeezes on the inside and leaves nowhere else to go, and Bowden got out of that really unscathed.
You'd say as well there that Glasspool did run wide through the first part of the chicane and didn't get that car slowed down to get out of the way in time. So this is how your field looks. It's the simrigs.com DPR 632 that has control of the field. It's the ERT 444 in second, Tanked SRT move up into third, and it's Simrers.com 979 in 4th position. Live look at your championship points on the right-hand side of your screen. You'll see the 632 moves out then to an 8-point margin at the front here, with the 444 car just behind in terms of this race. This is a really important phase as they go through in the dark there, as we take a look at safety car camera out there at this point in time. Sebastian Flock out there piloting the safety car, making sure that the field is entirely neutralized out there in the GT, or I would say the Bowler Media safety car out there at this point in time, which has a very nice distinction out there actually at this point in time, that it is a McLaren 570S GT4 as a safety car here, Brady.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking safety car there, the AOG safety car, but it'll be certainly a good time to reset, and everyone that was involved in that incident can now get their fast repair. But look at who is in 1, 2, and now the top 2 in the championship will be going at it off this restart.
Yeah, they absolutely will, and they'll be certainly looking to try and push for everything that they've got. And when you are 1 and 2 in the race, they are going to be looking through. Safety car will be in this lap. So for Andrew Dyson, his take 2 on the restart is going to be very, very vital in terms of how they go through. What's crucial as well is that because we've had these neutralized laps, it's not going to move anything in this race. It means that those drivers who got in early, who got in first, some of their laps that they would use to build that margin have been completely wiped away here, Brady, and that is vital. Safety car's been given the call to pull away from the rest of the field. Pace is under control of the 632.
Yeah, certainly as well. Guys like Glasspool and McFarlane coming from the back of the field as well, mid-pack. So it's going to be interesting to see those guys come through. And Rob Bowden, we've seen his onboard before, got through all that carnage. He is now P3 in the Ferrari.
Top 7 drivers all decided not to come down into the pits. Everybody else in this field has used their fast repair. When do you go? When you are Andrew Dyson, he will look as the safety car is in the pit lane. He can go anytime he wants from now, as he sets and waits up right now, trying to build a gap on the Lamborghini behind of John Peisnick, and he gets a great drive out to the final corner. Green flag will be back out and be racing again here from Sandown. What a fantastic jump by the 632. If anything, it's the Cruiser Kings 2 team that looks most likely to try and make a move on Reese Margetts and the SimRigs.com DPR 979 into the opening corner. No dice as they go through. A bit more side-by-side in the background as going around the outside goes Max Havid in the Autoserve Racing 92 Mercedes, making the pass on Cody D and the Cruiser Kings 1 outfit. So some very nice moves early on, and they will tackle the run up the hill for what is the first time in full racing action.
Yeah, it was good to see everyone get through that opening sector nice and cleanly that time by, and fantastic restart from Dyson. Pulled a little gap there on Peisnick and certainly got it out of that draft zone, and hopefully he can build that lead up and try and pull away from the 444.
Yeah, building the gap early is going to be key. On the brakes, they all final. Big slide behind in the peachy Cruiser Kings 1 outfit there for Cody D. Almost getting himself in trouble as we focus on the 44. Running through the final couple corners out there on track. Nicely held by D with James Glasspool there, Josh Fitt back then. They're all going to be trying to run a way back through this field. There are no guarantees. Meanwhile, just in front, Margetts going to have to leave the door open. And there goes the move then. Marcus Watson making the pass. The Cruiser Kings 2 outfit then jumping up into 4th place.
Remember, Sperry, that car started at the back of the field. They got disqualified from qualifying for a practice infringement. And they're already up to P4, so this car has some speed. We certainly want to watch out for later in the race.
Oh, it's already in the right position and starting to move, and it's an important run for Marcus Watson at this point. Doesn't have the teammate there. Weird, and off the road. Oh no, that's the Lamborghini, and they're all going to be off, and someone's beached it. Oh, it's a huge accident there. Lamborghini goes sky high going forward. A massive, massive accident there for John Peisnick, and it throws the championship wide open. It might throw another safety car out.
Yeah, that's 100% going to be a safety car. That car is beached in the sand there, and I just want to know what happened to Peisnick. That was huge.
That was massive. Virtual Racing School replay out then at this point in time. It's a big, big mistake there in the Lamborghini, the most committed and loaded corner on the track. Back end steps out, big tank slap, a massive accident back out there. Safety car is deployed, and all of a sudden, where do you go? And I think one of the Mercs, was it one of the Mercs, one of the Porsches there that got themselves in trouble and beached into the McLaren. It was Alfa Venturi that found themselves in trouble there. So it was the 818 there of Sean Madison. So the Porsche are in trouble. So this is what you see from this position, Brady. And it is at this point, you've got nowhere to go. You've got to learn where to find it. Car comes back out onto circuit. You just have to follow, and in the end, just ran out of room.
Yeah, certainly nothing Sean could do there. That was extremely unlucky there. He literally couldn't do anything wrong. He went off track to try and avoid the 444, and now he's stuck in the tyre barrier and pretty much seemingly out of the race, and so is the 444 after a big moment there going through the S's.
This is what we call expensive. And in terms of this race, it has once again blown the race open. 117 points, and now all of a sudden the 444 finds themselves tied with the SimRigs.com DPR 233 team, which finds itself 5th on the road right now and will be looking to gain those points. Rob Bowden up to 2nd then in the Ferrari, and it just goes to show you that these cold conditions today, when the tyres are not up to temperature out there and they're having to do pace laps, you've got to keep the temperature in the tyres. Otherwise, you're going to have no grip by the time you reach turn 6.
Yeah, so you want to keep the heat in the tyres. It looks like it's a very overcast day there at Sandown. So we're going to try and keep it in the tyres and try not burn them up too much as well. It will certainly be helping the tyre wear having 2 safety cars, and we'll be doing a lot less laps under green today, and see if any more cars come in for that fast repair.
It might be really good for those drivers right now who have a really quick second driver just waiting for it. There is, out on circuit as a wait at this point, Sebastian Flock and the AOG 00. I think we may, at this point, be just a little bit behind at this point. So maybe we can take a little look then at the replay, get ourselves back through. There we go. As we find ourselves back to live pictures here, ladies and gentlemen, here for the GT Open Australia Round 5 race here at Sandown. 2 safety cars then inside of the opening 7 laps of this race. So, Simrix.com DPR 632 lead this one outright. Tanked SRT in second. Cruiser Kings 2 find themselves third. And then it's 2 more Simrix.com DPR cars. The 979 of Reese Margetts, followed by James Glasspool. And the 233 up into 5th position. AutoServe find themselves in 6th. It is Cruiser Kings 1 in 7th. Simrix.com DPR 255 in 8th. Mark 1 in 9th position, 007. And Bush Pig Esports round out the top 10 in the BMW. Brady, I'd say that patience is going to be needed here for this one. 2 early safety cars will have shaken up a lot of drivers. Andrew Dyson has a lot of experience in that 632, and he's going to have to use it again to get another strong restart.
Yeah, certainly a very safe pair of hands in the 632 with Andrew Dyson, and he knows now that the 444 is pretty much out of the race. So for the championship for the 632, I think he's just going to do whatever he can to bring the car home in one piece, even if it's not in first place, and collect the points and move on to the next round while the 444 is out of the race.
So to number 8, Racing for Leukemia cars dive down into pit lane. So it looks like they've taken service out there, and they have done a driver swap, and it's outside of the window. So that's big. They're going to get penalised for that because they have swapped drivers, but without notifying or doing so within the window. The pace car has pulled away. It's coming in this lap. So that means that the control of the field will be back with the 632 once Sebastian Flock behind the pace car dives into pits, which he just has now. So Andrew Dyson once again will have control for Simrix.com DPR 632. Tanked SRT, Cruiser Kings 2, just behind on what is a crazy, crazy start to the racing here at Sandown. We'll be back underway on lap 9 of 49. Dyson will once again try to pin it out of the final corner, and does so once again and gets a great run. Back to green flag running here from Sandown.
Another fantastic race out there from Andrew Dyson. Pulls a nice 10 car length gap back to the Ferrari in P2, and we'll have to watch that Cruiser Kings 2 car, the number 7. It is on a mission. It's up to P3 now, and he'll be looking to get past the Ferrari real quick and try and challenge Dyson.
Yeah, and I'm sure Rob Bowden's going to be looking behind, thinking, I don't quite want to be here at this point. I want to be focusing forward and trying to get to Andrew Dyson as fast as possible. Up the rise, they will come along to the really committed turn 6. Once again, a look then at Watson here with the Cruiser Kings 2. Marcus Watson running through the fast left-hander there up the hill at turn 6. Over the crest, and now at turn 9, getting it all slowed down and stopped. We are all through this section of road right now, and that is massive as he chases down the front 2. All nicely done at the moment, and I'll tell you what, it is starting to get a little bit dicey behind between Cruiser Kings 1, the other Cruiser Kings entry, and likes of AutoServe, and now the 255. They're going to fan it out 3 wide on the front stretch. I tell you what, they definitely want this race to go forward right now. Dean Habit and Josh Fitz searching for a run through at the opening section, and somehow it is the Cruiser Kings entry that comes out on top.
These drivers are battling for sheep stations right now in the mid-pack. They're going at it, and somehow they got all through that after going 3 wide and dicing on the front straight. But as you said, the Cruiser Kings car came on top as he blinks a little bit there, so a few technical issues there for the Cruiser Kings 1 car.
Yeah, and that will not be helpful for those drivers behind, who will have to try and pick and choose their way through some very, very important track out there. They run along and now hit the brakes for turn 9. This very, very important left, wide off of the exit goes Max Havoc. That's going to open up the Mark 1 Esports purple car. Jamie Bernot is going to try and find himself a way through and needs a good run off of the final corner and might get it off the exit here because that was a little bit wide pushing from Max Havoc as they now look to try and get towards the opening corner out on track. The very, very difficult 93 left, turn 1. On the brakes they'll go. It will have to be patience there here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, certainly, and there's still just under 30 laps, just over 30 laps to go, so it's still a long way left in this race. So these drivers need to be patient. Still another 10 laps to the pit window where they can take their compulsory pit stop. So he's certainly try and make their mark and get in where they fit in, and looks like another car in the pit lane.
Yeah, that is going to be the 818, and that will be a black flag for the Alpha Venturi Racing team, so they will have to serve that. I wouldn't have thought, oh, there's trouble. There's trouble for a Cruiser Kings car. Backwards at turn 4, and that is Cody D facing the wrong way and went off at a rate of knots going through, and it was again getting 6, 7, 8 wrong, backwards facing at turn 9.
Yeah, big mistake there for Dylan Burst at high speed through the S's to down in on road, and we'll go to the VRS replay and see what happened there to the number 69 Cruiser Kings number 1 entry. Just like the 444, just lost the rear and jumped over the curb, and massive moment. Very lucky to keep it out of the wall as much as he did, and he'll be able to keep going, but that was a massive moment.
It's the rear tyres getting air that causes all of the issue. If those tyres have stayed on terra firma, that gets saved. But for Cody D, he can't save it, and as such, he's got work to do now to charge back through the pack. Stacking up behind Marcus Watson now, it's Reese Margetts and James Glasspool. The two Simrigs.com DPR cars are starting to think about ways they can make overtakes up the hill at turn 6. Getting it wrong there is James Glasspool, and he'll have to serve a slowdown penalty for cutting the chicane.
Yeah, cutting a little bit fine there, James. He's right on the limit, trying to stay with his teammate in that battle for P3 as well, and just got a little bit wrong, a little bit wide, and had, unfortunately, Slowdown's lost a little bit of ground there.
He certainly lost a bit of ground out on the track, because it's a bit of side-by-side as the After Dark Sim Racing pink car tries to work away past Tom Jones in the Bush Pig Esports BMW. And the question is, can you find the pass? Can you find the way to get that done? At the moment, answer is no. Can't find the pass. So Ben Jeffrey has to wait behind Tom Jones and hope that this race will stack up longer. Cody Deeth in the barriers now again, and this is a bigger hit into the barriers this time, and that one coming through after a run again at 6, and I'm not sure whether that was the damage or whether that's just an intentional. I'm just going to park the car that way, but that looks like an intentional. I'm going to park the car.
Yeah, a bit silly there from Cody. Really no need for that. So, unfortunately, hopefully we don't get a safety car from that. Hopefully they just let him escape and keep the race rolling on.
Well, they have, and the race will continue to roll on as we continue on to lap 13. Now, lap 14 of 49. Andrew Dyson in the Simrigs.com DPR 632 has pulled out a gap of 2.1 seconds in the Porsche over the 010 Ferrari in second position. Now, Brady, where does the Ferrari excel at a track like Sandown?
So Ferrari's usually really good in the mid-speed corners, and looks like Rob Bowden's keeping it nice and steady throughout the middle part of the track and between the straights. So he's actually surprising. He's keeping a decent gap to Dyson. He's not letting him get away too far, and he's putting a little bit of a gap to Watson. So very impressed with the driving of the tanked SRT Ferrari. Watson definitely looking behind right now in the Cruiser Kings 2 outfit, because that is the 979, which is sitting there and waiting. Reese Margetts, who started the race in 7th position, up 3 spots then as he drives it out right now with David Reynolds, looking to make some progress. The brakes once again through the right and then the left then of turn 12 will open up once more, and now it's about getting that drive, hoping that this is going to be close enough. It is starting to get close behind, because Max Havett is going to be under pressure from Jamie Bernot. The two Mercs now started to have to defend and attack respectively. Here comes Bernot to the outside, trying to get this done. Turn 1's difficult, but maybe up and under. Try and work it out through 2 and 3. This is going to be a game on the brakes, and just shutting the door through the corner. A little bump to the back as well to go through. That's actually pushed Max Havett out wide, and now why don't you have it if you're Jamie Bernot, side by side up the hill? Yeah, this is a fantastic battling between the two Mercedes and the Bush Pig Esports car, I think, of Tom Jones and the BMW, right behind there, waiting for any mistake to happen. Trying around the outside at 6 is brave, even at the best of times.
not going to happen. And you're absolutely right there, Brady. They are going to start stacking up more because you've got Jones and Jeffrey there. And again, wide goes the AMG Mercedes, and it's going to open up then as AutoServe. There's the contact. Round goes Max Havit, who had been making a habit of making the machine as wide as possible, and that ultimately becomes a case of trying to turn in and having no room to play with. So those two coming together, and really I think that was just a case of how long that Mercedes is there, Brady. And the key there for the Mark 1, the eSports purple outfit, was trying to get the cutback here with how early they were on the brakes, and there was just no room to turn.
Yeah, certainly is a bit of a early turn in there, just got into the back of the 92 and unfortunately spun him around. As we look at James Glasspool now in the 233, trying to get down the inside of his teammate for P number 4, couldn't get it done into the S's, and now under brakes and Denny on road, can't get it done, so he might have to look into turn 1.
Yeah, patience then is going to be needed, because that was not going to be the move that's there. I tell you what, if there was any team to go out there first and make a pit stop, it should be them out there at this point. Worth noting that the 444 car is back out on circuit and can score some points. It's in 11th position right now and 2 laps down. But here comes the move then for James Glasspool and the SimRace.com 233. Out there, the DPR car moves down the inside. Can it be stopped on the exit? Just about. The move scored on Reese Margetts and the 979 DPR car. They will have to be patient as they fall back to 5th.
Yeah, certainly a very impressive job under brakes there from Glasspool. Really dove in late and pulled up very nicely on his teammate. I don't think there was probably much resistance there from the 979. Now Glasspool, who was in contention at the start of the race before that incident on lap 1, can now chase after the number 7 of Watson, and looks like a penalty for the 007.
Yeah, it's a drive-through penalty. They will get the black flag, and as such, they will have to take a trip down the pits. Now, that has been announced over race control, so Tom Jones and the Bush Pig Esports BMW will have known that and won't necessarily have to make the pass out on track. They can sit and be patient and wait for the Mark 1 007 to dive down into the pit, and crucially, by diving the pits, taking that drive-through penalty, they will not be able to make a driver change of any kind, as into the pits then comes Jamie Bernot, and it will be a case of a long way away. Cruiser Kings 2 under pressure once again. This is going to be the 7 of Marcus Watson, who's going to be very much looking at the 233 behind of James Glasspool, trying to find a way through.
Yeah, certainly Glasspool looks like he's got a bit more pace than Watson, and Watson's trying to weave on the straight, trying to distract him, and Glasspool will be looking into Daniel Road. I think he won't get it done into the S's. He'll try and get him under brakes and Daniel Road, which is a very risky move, but he's very good under brakes, Glasspool, in the 233, so he might just line him up at turn 1 just like he did to his teammate 2 laps ago.
Tell you what, Joshua Fitch starting to join this one as well. Defended on the inside by Marcus Watson. Open up the final corner. Glasspool gets great drive off of the exit by comparison. Look at him, he's all over him, trying to find a way through. He's going to go to the outside, try and use that overspeed to make it happen as they go through. Same car out there. Porsche versus Porsche as they run on the brakes towards turn 1. Watson sends it in deep, but there's still room on the outside. Not going to budge between those two. Once more, they will run to 2 and 3, and Glasspool does get it done for the SimRace.com DPR. 2-3-3! Where do you come back with that? They put each other in the fence!
Oh, Watson, no. I don't know what that move was about. He was very ambitious into turn number 4 there, and the car is very damaged. Rear end there for Watson, and he could have just let him go, and he went for the big lunge and it just didn't pull off.
Wow, that's incredible, and there goes the car, nothing to turn with, and that might be a case of keep it off the road, and now you just need some patience here. Full lock, trying to get it turned around, finally get that going, and at least at this point, that's a shame for the Cruiser Kings team, who have been absolutely on the wrong side of it today. That was, I would say, some great optimism from Marcus Watson, who didn't want to give up the overtake. There's the contact there with Max Havit, Not much you can do when you got that much damage. He was trying to stay well out of the way. And it becomes very awkward through this section. Glasspool down into the pits then. Lap 20 can't make a change because of the damage, and nor can Marcus Watson either. And I think that might be for James Glasspool. Day over. They had to use that fast repair, didn't they?
Yeah, certainly. Not really sure what happened to the 233 there. He was in a good spot, and then he's gone to the pits a lap before the window, so it'd be interesting to see actually what happened to Glasspool. I didn't really see what happened to him.
Well, Glasspool got caught up in all of that. He was the second car in that incident there with the 7th as they go through. So through all of that, Andrew Dyson's now your leader still. In second, it's the Tanked SRT team. And then it's the 979 and the 255 who are racing for third. Fast repair taken by Marcus Watson. He'll go out and he'll have to come back in the next few laps because the pit window is now officially open for driver swaps, which are mandatory at this point in time. It has been manic here over the first stint of this race. And I think it's a lot easier to say who's not been involved in an incident over the opening half or so of this race, Brady, then who hasn't?
I think I can probably name one guy that hasn't been. It's Andrew Dyson. He's been out in front and in control of this whole race and brought out to nearly 6-second lead over Bowden, who's nearly got a 5-second lead over Marquette. So Dyson's doing a really good job out in front. He can control the pace now, control the race, get maximum points into the next weekend.
That would be key. Of course, there is a 1-week break before the next run, so the pit window now officially open out there. Damage repaired by James Glasspool. He'll be back out and away again. The race on for third position right now between the two Simrigs.com DPR cars, the 979 and the 255. Josh Fitt in the 255 will be looking to try and make some progress. Lee Parsons will take control at the stop. For the team in front of them, the 979, it will be David Reynolds who will be in at this point for them. And I'm sure for Reynolds, he'll be looking behind and hoping that, okay, our next focus for Simrigs.com DPR, they'd love a 1-2-3. And we've already got our first taker in the AutoServe team. Then Max Habit, they're going to make a driver swap then at this stage. And they will swap the 92 over. And we should see into the car Tyson Hammer.
Yeah, first car to make their stop on lap 22. And as you said before, the two DPR cars battling for P3 on the road. They would love to try and catch up to Bowden in the Ferrari in the Tanked SRT entry. But he's 5 seconds up the road and doing a really, really good job. So these two might be battling there just for P3 at the moment because Bowden's doing an incredible job.
Absolutely is, as Hammer will leave the pits. Into the pits again comes James Glasspool, this time for the driver swap. And at this point in time, we haven't really talked too much about this. Bush Pig Esports, the BMW, they're in 5th.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job, Sperry. They're under the radar too. Even in qualifying at the start, they put it down a really good lap early and ended up dropping back a little bit in the order. As you've seen, they started 8th, but Tom Jones is just doing a really good job staying out of all the trouble, and they're going to get a pretty good result today at this stage.
At this stage, they'll have to look behind them, though, a little bit, because the After Dark Sim Racing pink Porsche is right there behind and will be trying to figure out how to get close enough to make a move and gain an extra position. Oh, Reese Margette's in the fence. Reese Margette's in the barriers, in the tyres then, at turn 8 through the S's. A big issue out on track. And I don't think it was contact. I think it was just one mistake and goodbye exit stage left.
The spot has been certainly action-packed all race. The 979, unfortunately, in the barriers there. We'll see what happened on the VRS replay and just got the curb a little bit too much on the entry there and just lost the rear end. And
safety car.
He couldn't save it. Another safety car.
This is massive. Anyone who's been out is in trouble because they will have to come down in and take their stop, and because of that, it becomes a mad scramble for those who have pitted compared to those who have not. So, stack this up. Andrew Dyson might be in a bit of trouble. No idea whether the pit lane is closed right now or not because we are under safety car conditions, so we'll get more confirmation as that comes through. But Andrew Dyson right now, if the pit window is open, which it is, and of course they go through, this is going to be a key phase of the race where this has to be a stop. Andrew Dyson does come down in. Effectively, it's a free stop.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to help these top guys out in front under the safety car taking their pit stop, and Bowden in as well. So we'll see what happens for the leading car that has made their pit stop. I think it's the AutoServe car and the Mercedes, I believe. So it'll be very tight.
It is going to be close, and that AutoServe car of Tyson Hanma, I believe, is just going to run forward. Then in the safety car, then is Matthew Bowler at this point in time, and they are a lap down at this point, so they will just fly on through. So that's worth keeping in mind, that this is a very awkward situation where you've got cars that are a lap down in this race, which will be, because drivers are in the pits, allowed to unlap under the safety car process. Dylan O'Shea will come out then for the 632 simrigs.com DPR car and hold control at this point. Chris Barnes for Tanked SRT then will be in second, and crucially, the Cruiser Kings car has come out ahead of Lee Parsons in the 255 simrigs.com DPR car. So despite getting involved in an incident, despite having to take an extra stop, they're still in third by the looks of things, potentially.
Yeah, it's a massive recovery if they've managed to get that far up again in the number 7 after that little mistake and damage and taking their fast repair. They're still right back in the hunt, but looks like it's just Dyson's race to lose at the moment.
So, lap 25 of 49, the halfway stage is the third caution of the race. It has been a stop-start race here at Sandown, and drivers have been struggling with the cold conditions and, crucially, the wind as they've been coming through turn 6. That's been the trouble corner, because it's a case where you're at the top of the hill and you're catching the wind on the rear wing as you're going through, going from basically a crosswind to a tailwind, and that is causing all sorts of balance issues out there, Brady.
Yeah, certainly. I think that will also come down to probably these guys will be running very low wings, so which will be very good and fast on the straights, but as soon as they go into the corner, they're going to have a lot less downforce on the rear end. So I think that's going to be the factor. That's what's going to be why they're doing all the mistakes down at the end of the back straightaway.
Yeah, that's where the mistakes are all starting to creep up in. So we'll get confirmation then of the order as they now run through. It is the 632 simrigs.com DPR team, Dylan O'Shea in control, Tanked SRT in second. Cruiser Kings 2 are up to third again. simrigs.com DPR 255 in fourth. Bush Pig find themselves in fifth. Then it's After Dark, AutoServe find themselves in seventh. And the last car on the lead lap is Mark 1 Purple in 8th position overall. Everybody else are a number of laps down. The 444 car has retired from the race. The 979 still down there on the pits at this point, and crucially yet to make the driver swap. Now that's key for their team, because they don't have another driver currently in server waiting for them. So effectively, Cruiser Kings 2 are stuck out there, unable to make a driver swap. And if that's the case, and they get to the end of that phase of the pit window and they still haven't made a driver swap, they're in big trouble here, Brady.
Yeah, certainly. They're pretty much going to be throwing away their race if they don't get a second driver in. So they'll be getting a penalty, or however race control deem that penalty. So unfortunately for Marcus Watson, you know, he's done really well to get up to third, but unfortunately still has to get his driver swap. So he's effectively not even there. So the 255 usually is effectively in P3 there.
Yeah, so that's definitely worth just keeping in the back of the mind, that there are drivers who are in and out of position, still under safety car pacing then as they run through the final corners. Small kick left out onto this main straight, which has been such a vital place for overtaking over the course of this one, and it has been rather telling that those who have just kept it calm and well within the lines have proven what they've got available to them. The lap cars in between have been allowed to overtake, so they bring themselves back into range then as they go through. We are currently on course for 6 cautions in this one, as they go through. Safety car will be back in this lap, and we will be back to racing action. Dylan O'Shea will have control of the field as and when that happens, but this is going to be a really important race. There's only 2 laps for Marcus Watson to come in and make that pit stop. Otherwise, he's going to be in deep trouble there in 3rd position, with Lee Parsons just behind there in 4th for the 255, and Glenn Heimer in 5th position for the Bush Pig Esports team. This is a big opportunity for them. Top 4, top 5 right now, all looking for a really good opportunity here, Brady. But now, once again, it's about that restart.
Yeah, certainly. We've seen on both the restarts so far, Dyson and the 632 has gotten fantastic restarts and pulled a good gap. And now Dylan O'Shea in the car, another experienced campaigner, very handy steerer. So I'm sure he'll have it under control and try and pull a little bit of a gap there on the tanked SRT Ferrari.
Well, tanked SRT Ferrari has been very consistent. It's been great points for them so far in this race. Will it continue at this point? 632 might be waiting for that drive off the final corner. You've got to be alert to that if you're the tanked SRT 010. You've got to know when they're going to go, and now is the go. And suddenly, immediately, going to be under pressure there by the number 7 Cruiser Kings 2 car, which is going to try and figure out a way through to move up into 2nd position and try and make that pass. Still has to make that pit stop, of course, but straight down the inside and almost checks off the block, and suddenly into the side. Round goes the DPR 255 and into the path of oncoming traffic. Abandoning stage right goes the auto-serve car of Hanma, going through, somehow keeps it out of trouble. And that another very, very awkward restart. Let's take a look at the Virtual Racing School replay.
That was huge, Bear, and it looks like that all started with Watson and the number 7 going for a massive lunge on the tanked SRT car, checked him up, and then way too much overspeed there for the 255 by the looks of it, and had just got into the side of the tanked SRT gun and just spun it around.
Oh, it's a little bit naughty there, getting back on the binders like that into oncoming traffic there from the 255, so that could have been trouble out there. This is Justin Quinn's look then, in the Mark 1 Esports purple outfit there. Smoke screen in front. Where do you go? Oh, how do you get on the binders there and not have an accident?
That was very lucky not to be another disaster. Big moment there in the race, and Watson up to P2, which is only relative at the moment because he's going to be DQ'd essentially if he doesn't make his driver change in the next lap or so, and they'll put Heimer in the number 31 BMW in P2 effectively.
Yeah, and there will be a dangerous driving penalty that will come through for Marcus Watson, but that won't matter because there will be the disqualification incoming at the end of this lap for not having made the driver change. Going through, gets it wrong, slow down penalty, but at least right now it will put Glenn Heimer in 2nd for Bush Pig, tanked SRT in 3rd, After Dark will be in 4th, and Mark 1 will find themselves up in 5th position in what is helter-skelter as they go through. And as they move on to lap 30 of this race, Marcus Watson will have not made that driver swap and now is due disqualification from the race then for not making a driver swap over the course of racing action. So massive in terms of this race, and massive where you consider right now that everyone's going to be pushing tanked SRT then. Chris Barnes will effectively be 2nd, and there is the spin and the removal of the race then for Marcus Watson. His day done, and the chase very much on. It is right now Porsche, BMW, Ferrari, your top 3.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't expecting coming into this race a BMW and a Ferrari on the podium, but it's just been a trace of attrition at the moment, and these guys have gone through the race, survived and stayed clean, so good on them. It's going to be a great result for those 2 cars.
Yeah, it certainly will, and I'm sure this is going to be a really big race right now for them. Big points on the offering at this point, so what more can you find out there? There is the After Dark Sim Racing pink machine still trying to give chase then to the tanked SRT Ferrari in 3rd position. Now this is by no means out of the realms of possibilities for them. They started in 11th position in this 1:44, and they will be jumping up right now, thinking about 3rd place after starting in 11th. That would be a mega drive for them outright, but it's not over in terms of this one, because just behind you got that Mark 1 purple car, which is there trying to get into the action, Justin Quinn, and then you got Lee Parsons, the 255, trying to make some recovery as well.
Yeah, Parsons, the 255, will be on his skates and trying to get as many spots as he can. Unfortunately, lost the P3 there, so he'll be trying to make up some ground, and looks like Barnes in 010, the Ferrari tanked SRT car, has done a good job in P number 3 there and holding on, but it looks like he's lost a little bit of ground over the last few laps, so he might have some damage from the contact earlier, but we'll just see how he goes. They started 6th, up 3 positions, so do a really good job between him and Rob Bowden.
We'll compare lap times at the end of this lap, see exactly where they are in comparison. Chris Barnes will make that run over the line, 107.9. It was a 108.3 from Adam Jepson behind the wheel of the After Dark Sim Racing pink car. So an improvement there of 0.4 of a second on that lap for Chris Barnes by comparison. So that's big. Behind that, the Mark 1 car is, the Mercedes is under pressure. Philip Worley searching for a way past Justin Quinn. And at this point, just going to have to be patient here. Wait for your chances. Oh, you can't get much closer there at turn 4. That's where it gets really close. All of the, I would say, wall encroaches in, because you've got the river, of course, on the right-hand side just behind it. So there's no room for runoff at turn 4.
No, turn 4 has certainly been a place for action today. It's very, very tight on the exit, and one little step off the line and you're in the wall, as we've seen before. So very tight spot, very tight racetrack around here at Sandown, and looks like the 233 is trying to get a move done. I think he is a lap down though.
Yeah, trying to get the move done. Is a lap down, but crucially is making life difficult at this point, and that's key for the 255, which is just behind, is going to now use as a pick. There goes into the pits just behind the Alpha Venturi out there, which is going to come in and make a stop. And now if that is correct in terms of that, Sean Madsen behind the wheel, they also didn't, I don't think, make their swapping time as they went through, unless they're going to be going through. So that's 29 complete laps. So, oh no, there goes 255. 255 goes around in the background. Lee Parsons spins it at a very awkward place on circuit, and that's right in front of the other simrings.com DPR car and the AutoServe machine. Now, the next question that has to be asked here, Brady, is for the Alpha Venturi team, they did 29 full laps. So does their pit window close now, or is it on the leader's lap 29 when the pit window closes?
I think that's going to be a question to race control at the moment. I'm sure it is under investigation. I would assume it is on the leader's lap 29, but we'll have to see what race control come up with there. And they're a few laps down, obviously, so they're not really in the hunt for the top position. So we'll just have to see what race control come back with. But yeah, that spin from the DPR car there was very awkward and lucky not to be collected by his teammate.
Very, very lucky, and that could have been a whole lot worse out there, and anything more to come along with that could be trouble. There is the AutoServe 92, which is currently classified in 6th position right now, holding Lee Parsons back in bay at the 255. In front is David Reynolds, who is 2 laps down and was racing against the Alpha Venturi car out there on this one, and it is now starting to get absolutely chock-a-block with the Ferrari, because through's going to go, making the pass. Now the team there in 3rd position now, which is the After Dark Sim Racing Pink. They found a way through. The traffic trying to dive away around the outside as well. Philip Worley will unstick himself from this situation, and suddenly Justin Quinn is looking to try and be Quinn credible and find his way up from 5th to 3rd if he can.
Yeah, it's certainly a big battle pack here coming on now for P number 3, with the Porsche, Ferrari and the Mercedes all battling out, and with the lap car of Worley ahead, it's going to be very interesting how these cars negotiate that. But it looks like the Mercedes got some real pace there.
Mercedes does, and it's been patient right now. Chris Barnes Right now, he looks like he's let the barn door open. He gets a huge slide coming through the middle of turn 4, which compromises the run. And now the Mercedes, which can use that high-end cadence and really attack up this hill. It's going to have the inside line here at turn 6. This is either going to be brave or quite foolish. They go through. Barnes lifts off on the outside. Through will go the AMG Mercedes of Mark 1 Esports Purple up to 4th place.
Yeah, some good driving there from Justin Quinn, and also Barnes as well, just to realise that Quinn had the run, let him go, play the long game. Still 14 laps to go, so only losing 1 position at the end of the day is not that bad. So Barnes doing a really good job in a top 5 position still, so we'll see if Quinn can chase down the number 44 for the final spot on the podium.
Still very much possible here for Justin Quinn to make something happen. That after dark sim racing pink machine, though, has been rather fast today, and it has been now trying to build a buffer margin, 107.8 on that lap, and doing more than enough to keep Justin Quinn and Chris Barnes at bay at this point in time. They have been doing wonderfully out there at this point, so they find themselves with a nice bit of breathing room, and now they can go focus on their laps with 14 laps to go here at Sandown.
One person who's actually doing it pretty easy at the moment is Dylan O'Shea. He's got a massive margin out in front in the 632 DPR machine. He's done some really good laps all out in front, doing what he needs to do for the 632's championship aspirations.
Absolutely, and being out there at the front is certainly key. There is the tanked SRT machine, which of course didn't have much choice when it came to that move, as my microphone decided it just wanted to fall over tired as much as I did out there on the this point. But right now, you'd have to say that the tanked SRT car really didn't have much that they could do in the early stages of that last restart. They effectively got blocked past as they went through. Doesn't look like they've suffered damage from it, maybe a small hit to the side, but it's a confidence hurter for sure, and it's going to take them a while to get back up into a position where they feel comfortable. The one thing I will say is that left wheel, the front left wheel, especially on the rear, does look rather exposed, and I think that's what's causing a few issues on the straights and the drag troubles that they have.
Yeah, certainly looks like the Ferrari is struggling a little bit compared to the Mercedes on the straight, but in the corners he seems to make up a little bit of ground, so I don't think it's affecting Barnes too much. Maybe a kilometre an hour or 2 on the straights, but that could be hurting him lap time overall, but he's doing a pretty good job to stay right with Mercedes there.
Absolutely. Staying in a strong position right now to keep this race in check. Race on for 6th position at this point as well, because AutoServe will be looking behind, and they see once again the 255 simrigs.com DPR car. So Hanma will be looking behind Lee Parsons, trying to get back through. On that last lap, Lee Parsons did a 107.3 and took half a second of time out. Little wide going through that section there for Hanma, but can gather it back for turn 4. But issues on the outside, and they're both in the wall. A big issue for both of them as they both hit the wall. Hanma getting out wide, nowhere to go. It goes street circuit at that point.
Yeah, certainly a big mistake there from the Mercedes. Just got out on the outside curb, and that outside curb is very, very slippery, as we'll see on the VRS replay. That outside curb, if you get your right rear on it just a little bit wrong, it'll send you sideways. So a little bit of a mistake there from the 92, as we'll see. He had the pressure from the 255 right on his back bumper. Looks like just goes a little bit too deep, runs it wide and gets on the curb and just loses the rear end, and pretty much nothing he could do and nothing the 255 could do either.
You're always in trouble when you know you've got to put the power down in the grass, and that's the issue there. Just brakes on the curb, not enough there to get the car slowed down, has to put the power on, tyre in the grass, and suddenly they're both thrown towards the race course on the inside, and those drivers in 6th and 7th find themselves in trouble. No mechanical flags for either of them though, so it does mean that they both can continue, so the damage not terminal out there between them. Barnes staying in range of Justin Quinn in this race for 4th position out here overall, but in front of them, pulling away from them now, is Adam Jepson, and the After Dark Sim Racing Pink So there is that as they go through. So they now know that this is still a long, long way to go. By the way that everyone has struggled here today, attrition factor has been huge. And you do talk about it here at Sandown, how this is an attritional style circuit, but not in the way that most people expect. When it's such a fast track like this one here, Brady, and this circuit very much doesn't have many places to slow yourself down, accidents tend to be big.
Yeah, certainly. We've seen that in a few different series we've had on SimSpeed TV, VH Scops, Aussie Car, Formula 4s. Just this track just seems to produce a bit of carnage. And I think it could be due just to maybe a lack of passing opportunities. Really, at turn 1, there's one big opportunity, and we've had carnage there in our previous series. And turn 4, it's just a really tight circuit. It's like a street circuit without all the concrete walls. So certainly not one of the easiest circuits to race on, but certainly, as you said, the attrition rate today is huge.
Get the auto serve car now down into the pits, and we'll be taking optional repairs to get that all sorted again. The chase still on, 4th and 5th, running through the final chicane once again. Very similar between the times now between Quinn and Chris Barnes. Tanked SRT in 5th, Mark 1 Esports Purple in 4th position, and they're effectively, if this was tennis, for example, they're just holding serve right now, just making sure it's game. At some point they'll reach a 7-6 tiebreaker come the final lap or so, and someone's going to have to really pull a punch at that point.
Yeah, certainly, and they're just trying to keep it straight for the last 9 laps. It's been a crazy race, all race, so Barnes doing a really good job. He's still staying on the back of the Mercedes and doing a really good job. And even though he's got a little bit of damage, it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. But you see in the background there, the DPR car is slowly closing in. Might get at the back of him by the end of the race.
Yeah, that DPR car there is the 255 of Lee Parsons. The difference to make up is 10 seconds. Auto serve, retire the car from the race. So it will improve those drivers behind. But this is the key, 107.1 on that last lap. Chris Barnes did a 108, so it took 9/10 of a second. We're talking 8 laps to go. It's got to be about a 1.5 seconds a lap right now for Lee Parsons to get through. And there's the not-so-small matter in this race of David Reynolds getting himself involved in the 979 Simrigs.com DPR car, because if he gets past both of them and unlaps himself, that will give more credence out there as they go forward in this race. So I still think there is room for this race to come back to the Simrigs.com DPR 255. They could still get something out of this yet.
Yeah, certainly they can try and work together as teammates to try and get him a little bit closer, try and use that toe on this long straightaway track. So hopefully Reynolds does try and work with the 255 and try and get him along, but all the DPR cars have had a really struggling day today, other than the front 632. He's been out of trouble all day long, but the DPR, out of their 4 entries, they've suffered some catastrophe one way or another today.
Well, when you've got the most populous amount of teams out there, you're very much going to pay the price one way or another if you get involved in something out there. There still is the Tanked SRT machine trying to figure out which way you can go, and it is starting to get dark here at Sandown. Of course, they are racing into the evening. It has been going a while, and they're down to just 25 minutes on the clock, or 7 laps, whichever does come first, which will undoubtedly be 7 laps. Flicking through turn 4, power on the exit, get as close to the Pyrotech barriers as you possibly can. Barnes still holding, but they are closing up on that After Dark Sim Racing Pink, and that might be for 3rd position, which is an important phase of this race right now, if they can close back up to that Porsche.
Yes, certainly they are closing in on that After Dark Porsche, so certainly going to be very interesting. 6 laps to go this time by, so running out of laps, but they're making up ground bit by bit, so it could be interesting for the final remaining bit of the race.
Oh, it can. It absolutely can out there at this point. So at least for the time being, the Ferrari still giving chase. They will put a lap then on the Alpha Venturi Green racing car, and Ryan Green, who is out there racing green and green out there at this point and doing well. But again, running wide, and you've got to be careful about running wide too often around here. There are 30 instant points available, and with almost the entirety of the field getting caught up lap 1 in an instant, they already all lost at least 4 in the early stages.
Yeah, certainly it's a track that you can gain a lot of incident points just by off tracks. Certainly cutting the chicane at the end of the back straight, certainly one that stands out, but certainly, as you said, lap 1 took a toll on a lot of people. So those guys will be definitely watching the instant points towards the end of the race.
There's going to be a lot of counter watching, and that much is very, very clear at this point. Still, though, the chase on as they go through the final section again. They'll be down to just 5 laps to go, which is being controlled by the 632 of Dylan O'Shea, who is on the exact opposite side of the race course right now. That's how far the gap is opened up right now between those drivers at this point. Barnes still trying to stay there, but that gap's just slowly opening up, and I think Justin Quinn is starting to look forward instead of looking behind. So for the tanked SRT Ferrari, they'll get a lot of screen time right now, but that's about it. They're going to be just looking at this race thinking, what more can we do than 5th position? It's been a really good run for them. Mark 1 Esports Purple, though, still looking to chase down the 247 of Adam Jepson. This is going to be big in terms of, can you claw back that time, which has already been sacrificed. In fact, a slowdown penalty just there for Jepson. This is big. This will bring Justin Quinn right back into play because they're going to have to serve it. Still needs serving right now, and this is huge. Where do you serve it? Are you waiting for the front stretch to serve it? The longer it takes, the tougher it gets to serve. After dark, in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, certainly. It looks like he's slowing down a little bit now, so we'll watch the Mercedes claw its way back on the straightaway, and Jepson doesn't look like he's actually slowed down at all on the straightaway, so it'll be interesting to see when he takes that slowdown penalty.
Can't wait too long. He's got it served. So that is served, and that was cleverly waited and waited, trying to get it down more and more, but it has brought Justin Quinn back in. Little sluggish putting the power on, but managing fantastically at this point. This has been a solid performance out there from both teams right now, and they are looking for 1 spot on that podium.
Yeah, certainly, and with the race of attrition day, it's brought out some names into the top 5 that we wouldn't usually see, so it's really good to see the 247 in position number 3 at the moment, and then also the 007 as well, and the tanked SRT car all in the top 5, so fantastic results from all those teams today.
1.7 down to 1.5 seconds now as Quinn looks to really start ratcheting it up. 107.9 over the lap. Adam Jepson, of course, had the slowdown penalty, so his lap will not be registered going through the opening corner. Gets a heavy hit load of curb there on the outside, flicking through turns 2 and 3, leaning towards turn 4. Out there on track, mistake by Quinn. Runs a little bit wide, and I think any hopes of chasing that gap down, I think, have just been dashed.
Yeah, it looks like Quinn just made a couple of mistakes in the last lap or two, and he's dropped that gap down a couple of tenths in the last lap, and could bring Barnes right back into it with 2 laps to go this time by. So Barnes ain't out of it for position number 4 quite yet.
No, not yet. So I'd say that there's still something there, as they've still got their full 2 laps to go out there and complete. Behind them is David Reynolds, the lap traffic, which will be trying to get back through over the course of the final stages of this race. Barnes with another good run. He's going to bring himself into action then, and in about half a lap's time, we'll be getting to the white flag lap of this race, which indicates it will be the final lap. Chris Barnes trying to get closer. He needs a little bit more time right now, as there is your race leader, the 632 Simrigs.com DPR car, Dylan O'Shea behind the wheel.
Yeah, Dylan O'Shea and Andrew Dyson have just done it so easy today. They've controlled the race, pole position. I assume they've got the fastest lap as well, and coming to the white flag, seemingly to take victory today. And what was a pretty convincing performance. We were hoping for a tighter race today compared to last week at Battle Isle, but with all the incidents that have happened, they've really had it quite easy, as we see over 17-second lead. But Barnes still closing right in on Queen, only half a second, coming with 1.5 laps to go.
On the brakes then, through the left at 9, 10 and 11. Well, 10 here to the right, 11 and 12. The next focus through this crucial chicane. The Ferrari's going to have to get it done against the AMG Mercedes. And this is a big, big move for this 4th position. Can the Tanked SRT car find the pass on Mark 1? At the moment, it is Justin Quinn who is hoping he's got this sorted. On the brakes they go into the opening corner. It's covered for the moment, but there will still be chances. Heading through now to the final chicane. It has been run away at the front. It has been lights to flag from the front. Dylan O'Shea and also Andrew Dyson. Match point for the championship soon. That is a decisive blow in terms of what they go through. It's going to be a great race here for 4th position as they go through. Bush Pig Esports will take a massive 2nd position as they go through. After Dark as current will take 3rd. But now it's about the final stages. Who's got brakes? They both do. Little bit squirrely on the exit. Here comes a look then for the Tanked SRT 010. It's going to have to try and go the long way around and find a move, or hope for some drive off of the exit. Isn't going to get there. It's going to run out of road. It's a hold for Mark 1 in 4th position on what was a great race between everyone as they cross the line. Fantastic work throughout the field.
Yeah, certainly a fantastic battle there for P4 right at the end. Another lap. I think Barnes might have had that position, but congratulations to Dylan O'Shea, Andrew Dyson. Very convincing win, but Bush P Esports, position number 2 in that BMW. What a fantastic effort for those guys.
What an effort it has been. And I am just getting word in here from Race Control that the 247 After Dark Sim Racing pink car, of course, was running in the sim with the number 44 around it, is going to get a disqualification post-race for the infringement for having the wrong number to track. So move everybody 4th position and lower up 1. Simrace.com DPR take the victory then, 1 hour and 33 seconds, and wins by a margin of 18.3 when all is said and done. It will then be Mark 1 Esports Purple who will hold the final step on the podium, and it will be 4 different manufacturers in the top 4, with Tanked SRT who are promoted up to 4th. Then it's the Simrigs.com cavalcade, you could say, with the 255, the last finisher on the lead lap. And then following on from that, you've got the 233 and the 979. Alpha Venturi Racing, 9th position, moved up to 8th. And it's retirees from there. Autoserve in a bit of trouble there. And then following on from that, Cruiser Kings 2 getting disqualification. Evolution Race Team 444. Big in terms of this one. Big for the Lamborghinis. Cruiser Kings 1 and Racing for Leukemia all getting caught out in the early stages of racing. Brady, that is one thing to talk about on how that was a fast and ferocious race. Just going to wait for 2 weeks' time. Road America is the quintessential big track, big race feel, and is very similar to this Sandown circuit.
Yeah, I was about to say, Sperry, it's a very similar track, just way, way longer. Long straights, tight middle section of the track, so it's going to be certainly another draft fest. Hopefully some really good racing there on the 4th of December at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Surely going to be a cracking race.
Surely going to be a cracking race, and one here on SimSpeed TV. If you haven't had the chance to already, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe for more amazing content brought to you by the team here. Want to give a massive thanks, of course, to AOG, who of course are the title of GT Open Australia, as well as Bowler Media, who have been big on the socials and making sure that there are fantastic pictures coming out of this round. Of course, the Virtual Racing School have been on our replays, from Jake Kennedy on the cameras, from Brady Baldwin alongside me. I've been Jake Sperry. What a crazy race we've just had here at Sandown. every incident you could possibly imagine has befallen itself here. It is simrigs.com DPR 632, their third win of the season, and it puts the championship on match point as we will move over to Road America 2 weeks from today.